Thank you for tuning in to another how-to video. This one is going to be about the garden, and what I call this is a fish garden, and you'll see why in a minute. I've got here some sprouting kale, and I'll come back here and you'll see I call it a fish garden because it's being fertilized and fed. The garden's being fed, the plants, by fish. This is Rocky. We've named him Rocky. He's a blue tilapia, and this is a 55-gallon tank, fish tank aquarium. And then in place of the hood, I have a styrofoam insulation board in place of the hood. And this is something you can just pick up at a local hardware store. It's about an inch thick or so. And then and this is like a 55-gallon aquarium, so right here it would have a support. So I just cut this into two pieces. But whatever size aquarium that you have, you can modify this design to your size. And so then in this board, every so often, I just spaced them out. I could fit 8 of these plastic party cups in here. And so what I did was just with an X-Acto knife, just a utility knife, just cut, a square. I didn't bother with a hole saw. I've done that before, and on different. It's called aquaponics. When you have fish and the water from fish feeding your plants. It's called aquaponics, kind of like hydroponics, but in place of synthetic fertilizers, plant food, it is organic. So like I said, I just cut these just square holes, and then those cups, I just cut it to the size so it could fit in there snug, and then just rest. So just the tip of the cup is below the water surface. And what's happening here is the gravel, this is just regular aquarium gravel, is just enough in the water so it's absorbing, kind of wicking up and moisturizing all the gravel there. And these have actually sprouted. With this setup, this is kale. And so I've actually sprouted the kale in these cups. Sometimes you use those little sprouting blocks. Here there is cilantro. You can barely see it. There's one right there coming up. See the cilantro right there? Right there. This is, I think it's arugula or Swiss chard, and this is also germinated in this method, so I don't have to transplant anything. I have to thin it out, of course. I'll have to thin those guys out, but it's the same thing. They're just sitting just the edge of that cup, just below the surface of the water, and that's enough for it to wick up moisture. But you don't want to submerge it totally because the roots need oxygen too. So they're just on the surface. Now, as you can tell, this is just recently set up. It's not even been a week. Here I just experimented with cutting off a sprig of cilantro and putting it in and see if it'll root. And the same thing with, that guy's not doing so well, but this rosemary, just cut off a sprig, put it in. This is thyme, and seeing if these guys will take root. this way as well. So if I can get it to where it's, a system that roots, allows seeds to germinate, and then also allows plants to grow to full maturity, well, that'll be great. And this is all, happening indoors. And so you can do it in the winter, have fresh herbs and lettuce. You can also have some entertaining pets. There's some pink convict cichlids. They originate from Guatemala, and that's actually a breeding pair. This is a pretty big aquarium. Now for the filtration, it really has a lot of glare here, so it's hard for me to show you this. But for the filtration, that's just a juice bottle, 2 juice bottles in there. Right here, 2 juice bottles. And then the mouth of the juice bottle is right here. 2 of them. And I have 3/4 inch PVC 90-degree elbow sticking in there with some silicone. And then I have a 3/4 inch riser coming up to the surface, both of these. So that is aerating the water and also filtering it through quite a bit of gravel. It's almost like a mirror. But anyway, those are about a gallon each. Those fruit juice bottles, they're about a gallon each, and full of gravel. And then on this side of them, I just put holes on this side of the bottom side of the bottles, so it's drawing the water from the tank in. It's passing through about a gallon of gravel, then coming up through here through the riser. And so this is ideally coming out water that's slightly cleaner and oxygenated. Then this oxygenated water flows past the bottom of these cups. I'm going to do the same thing over on this side. And then on the top of these risers, I'm going to place a rigid plastic grid, so that the fish, once the roots start coming down, you can see one root over there coming down out of one of the pots already. It's only been a week. But once all these roots start coming down, I'm going to have this plastic grid right here in place, so the fish won't be able to start nibbling on the roots. Because if you have, a certain kind of fish that like to nibble on plants, well, this wouldn't be a good system. They would eat all the roots. So I'm going to place that right on the top, set it right on the top of 4 of these risers, and that'll prevent them from eating the roots. Now, for light, just to illuminate it for aesthetic purposes, I have these lights right here, and I'm going to silicone onto them another extension piece that'll come down, and so it'll be kind of like project the light right down here to the bottom, because again here you don't want all this light touching your roots. They'll get green algae growing on them. And the way I did those lights, just for right now, I'm sure I'm going to do something a little looks nicer, but these are 2 opaque party cups, and I've got a lamp light set up, just like a lamp wire and a light bulb fixture in there with the light bulb holes cut out on top to relieve any heat. And this is kind of acting like a flashlight, and I've got this a plastic transparent cup like this taped to this, so that I can actually stick it underneath the water level, and it's basically like an underwater flashlight, but the water is not being able to touch the light bulb itself. And I just did that for aesthetic purposes, so we can still have an aquarium, an illuminated aquarium to look at. But I'll put extensions on those, just silicone a little extension on there, so it'll block the light from hitting the roots and just shoot it right down to the bottom. Then I have made a little light box out of that same styrofoam material. And the same styrofoam material, I made a light box. Just cut it out, and it's setting above the aquarium. And this was a vanity light fixture that I removed and didn't need anymore. So then I used that same, it's aluminum foil on one side. It comes at the hardware store, these panels of insulation styrofoam. And made a real light box, and have my daylight bulbs here, the real white, cool, light, bright daylight bulbs. And then I just have it suspended by fishing line to my ceiling, just for aesthetic purposes, just so it's not something that's, you know, able to be seen too much, and then you just end up with this light box, a real lightweight light box, just suspended, you know, above your aquarium to provide light to your plants. I'll do update videos as the plants continue to grow and mature. But this is just a first video, just to show a demonstration of how I've converted a 55-gallon aquarium to an indoor herb and lettuce garden. Alright, well, that's all for now. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you picked up something. And you can take a look at my other how-to videos. Also, check out my Facebook page of How To by Taylor. Thanks for watching.